There is a story about a man named Elias. Elias was not a foolish man. In fact, he was the most prudent man in his village. When others ventured into the dark forest to hunt for great stags, risking their lives, Elias stayed behind. He found a small, walled garden owned by a wealthy merchant. The merchant told him, "If you tend to my roses from dawn until dusk, I will give you a loaf of bread and a copper coin every evening. You will never go hungry. You will never be cold." Elias accepted. He looked at the hunters returning with scars, and he felt superior. He had consistency. He had safety. He had what we now call job security. Years passed. They had scars, yes, but they also had the strength that comes from surviving the wild. Elias, however, had stayed in the garden. He had not grown strong, for the roses required only a gentle touch. He had not learned the map of the forest. He had not learned to track, to fight, or to build. One day, the merchant died. The walls of the garden crumbled. The bread stopped coming. Elias stood amidst the withered roses, a copper coin in his hand, and realized a terrifying truth. He was not a gardener. He was a piece of the garden's furniture, and without the merchant, he was nothing. He had sold his potential for a loaf of bread, and now he was too weak to hunt. Most of you watching this are Elias. You are sitting in a garden you do not own, believing that the loaf of bread, your paycheck, is a reward. It is not a reward. It is a sedative. It is a calculated dosage of anesthesia designed to keep you from realizing that you are slowly dying. Welcome to the concept of human entropy. To understand why your 9 to 5 is killing you, we must first understand a fundamental law of the universe, entropy. In physics, specifically the second law of thermodynamics, entropy is the measure of disorder in a system. The law states that in an isolated system, entropy always increases. Things naturally move from order to disorder. A hot cup of coffee cools down. A sandcastle washes away. A house left unattended gathers dust and rot. Order does not happen naturally. Order requires the injection of energy. If you want to keep your house clean, you must spend energy sweeping. If you want to keep your body fit, you must spend energy exercising. Life is essentially a constant battle against entropy. We consume energy to maintain the order of our biological systems against the chaos of the universe. Now, let's apply this to your life. Your life, your dreams, your health, your finances is a system. If you do not inject energy into it, it will decay. It will succumb to entropy. Here is the trap. The modern 9 to 5 job is an energy extractor. It demands the best hours of your day, the sharpest capacity of your mind, your executive function. You wake up, you commute, you solve problems, You are pouring massive amounts of energy into a system. But here is the catch. It is not your system. Every ounce of order you create at work, every organized spreadsheet, every successful meeting is a reduction of entropy for the corporation. You are the energy source, keeping their structure from collapsing. When you return home at 6 p.m., depleted and drained, you have no energy left for your own system. So, what happens? Your personal entropy increases. Your physical health decays because you are too tired to train. Your relationships decay because you are too irritable to listen. Your dreams decay because you have no mental bandwidth to build them. You are keeping the merchant's garden beautiful while your own house falls into ruin. But the tragedy doesn't end there. The human mind is not designed for stagnation. It is designed for progress. To cope with this energy extraction, the corporate world invented a brilliant illusion: the ladder. We are told that if we work hard, we will get promoted. We will get a raise. This appeals to our biological need for status. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was condemned to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity. Every time he reached the top, the boulder would roll back down, and he would have to start over. The corporate ladder is a Sisyphus loop. When you get promoted, you are not freed from the rock. You are simply given a heavier rock. But I make more money, you say. Yes, but at what cost? A promotion usually demands more of your energy. The leak in your system widens. You trade more of your life force for a slightly larger loaf of bread. And because your income rises, your lifestyle usually inflates to match it, a phenomenon known as lifestyle creep. The walls of the garden get higher, and the forest seems even scarier than before. This creates a state of dependency so deep it alters your psychology. But the wild man knows that the only true security is the ability to generate your own resources. The safe man is one restructuring email away from extinction. The wild man is comfortable in the storm. Let me tell you another story, a parable from the ancient East. A fat, well-fed dog met a lean, ragged wolf. The wolf said, "Cousin, you look magnificent. I am starving. How do you live so well?" The dog replied, "It is easy. I guard the master's house. In return, he gives me scraps of meat and a warm rug." The wolf was envious, but then the wolf noticed a ring of raw, chafed skin around the dog's neck. "What is that?" the wolf asked. The dog looked embarrassed. "That is just the mark of the collar. It is what they use to chain me up at night." The wolf stopped. He looked at the fat dog, then at the dark, cold forest. "If I must be chained to be fed," the wolf said, "then I would rather starve." And he ran back into the wild. Security is the most expensive thing you will ever buy. The price is your freedom. The price is your potential. When you prioritize security over growth, you decide to cap your upside to protect your downside. You decide that you will never be great, just so you will never be ruined. But in a world that is changing as fast as ours, with AI and automation, the safe path is actually the most dangerous. If your job can be done by a system, it will be. If your value is tied to your time, your value is capped. The only way to escape the entropy trap is to stop being the energy source and start building the machine. This brings us to the core philosophy of Sigil Rise. We are here to teach you how to seal the leak. Right now, your energy is leaking out. It flows into your employer's goals and into mindless entertainment. You are a vessel full of holes. To reverse human entropy, you must begin to divert a portion of your energy into your own systems. This is the concept of the seal. A seal is a structure that holds energy. In practical terms, it is an asset. An asset is anything that works while you sleep. A business, an investment portfolio, a piece of digital content. When you work a job, you are paid for your production. When you build an asset, you are paid for its existence. Imagine you spend 1 hour writing code for your employer. That hour is gone. You got paid once. Now, imagine you spend that same hour writing code for software you own. That software can be sold 1,000 times. The energy you put in is trapped, sealed, and magnified. You have reversed entropy. You have created a system that generates order without requiring constant new energy from you. This is the difference between the laborer and the architect. The laborer sells his sweat. The architect builds a structure that protects him from the rain. So, how do you do this? How do you move from the dog to the wolf without starving? You must treat your 9-to-5 not as your life, but as your venture capitalist. Your job is the first investor in your company. It provides the capital that you will use to build your escape. Audit your energy. Look at where your energy is going. Wake up 2 hours earlier. Give yourself the prime executive function. Stop renting your mind. At work, do what is required, but do not give them your soul. Save your creative genius for your own projects. Build systems, not hobbies. A hobby consumes money. A system eventually generates it. Create artifacts that exist outside of you. Embrace the discomfort. If you do not struggle now to build the machine, you will struggle forever to push the rock. The system relies on your ignorance. The economy needs people to push the rocks. The moment you realize that your energy is your most precious currency, you become dangerous to the status quo. You become a glitch in the matrix of mediocrity. The entropy of the 9-to-5 is inevitable. One day, you will be too old to push the rock. One day, The company will decide the rock can be pushed by a robot. One day, the garden walls will fall. When that day comes, will you be Elias, standing helpless in the ruins, or will you be the architect of your own fortress? The choice is yours. Seal the leak. Build the system. Rise